What's up, guys? Welcome back to Rip City Rundown in Game 2 of the Friday Sweet 16 action and Game 6 overall, the Sweet 16 that I'm previewing for you guys. And we've got another 1 seed against another 5 seed. The 1 seed Houston Cougars against the 5 seed Miami Hurricanes. Houston comes into this one 7-point favorites, 138 on the over-under, and the game is being taken place in Kansas City, Missouri. This is at 7:15, and it's going to be a great one. This should be a game that I think will end up having a lot of offense, despite these two teams being pretty good defensively. Houston, obviously a 1 seed, but has really struggled in these first 2 games. Struggled is a relative term because obviously they've gotten through both games. Plenty of teams have struggled and lost. But I don't think they've looked like the dominant Houston we've been accustomed to throughout the season. Game 1 against Northern Kentucky, up 3 at half, were basically tied until about 8 minutes left, and then kind of pushed the door down and ended up winning this game by 11. Marcus Sasser only played 14 minutes in that game. That was a bit of a concern, but obviously those concerns were put to rest in Game 2 against Auburn. But not a good shooting performance from Mark, not a good shooting performance from Jamal Shed, only 6 of 15. And overall, they only shot 4 of 16 from 3. So that was a little bit of a concerning performance. But again, they used their defense in the game against Northern Kentucky. And you could argue they used their defense, but more so their offense in that second game against Auburn, which again, they struggled. They were down 10 at half against an Auburn team that I don't think is that good. Personally, I don't think Auburn is any good this year. But they ended up outscoring them by 27 in the second half and won this game by 17. Again, but they were tied with about, I want to say, 8 minutes left. I could be wrong on that, but it was a close game up until obviously they shut the door down the stretch. But Marcus Sasser in this one played 31 minutes, 7 of 14 from the field. He had 22 points. Tremont Mark, 9 of 17 from the field, 26 points. Shed struggled again, only 2 of 8 from the field. But then you get your defense from Walker and Roberts. And then you have your depth pieces in Chaney and Sharp, and they overall had a very good second half and a pretty good game. But this Houston team, I don't want to say it scares me. I had Indiana go into the Final Four from this region, so take that for what it's worth. But I think this Miami team this Houston team isn't firing on all cylinders right now, but I think they very well could after 4 days of practice with Coach Kelvin Sampson. You look at the other team, the Miami Hurricanes. I think they're a hit-or-miss team. I think they should have lost to Drake in that first-round game, ended up winning 63-56. But that's probably due to Missouri Valley Conference probably Player of the Year Tucker DeVries, only 1 of 13 from the field, 1 of 11 from 3. Only had 3 points. Part of that you can give the Miami defense credit, but I think it was just a really bad night for DeVries. But all in all, they ended up getting the win. Isaiah Wong, terrible shooting night in Game 1, 1 of 10 from the field. But Nigel Pack ended up taking I don't know what I'm trying to say. Ended up doing what was needed to win the game. He had a game-high 21 points. And then you look in Game 2, this is where Miami really showed out. 85-69 win over Indiana, who I think is a really good team. Isaiah Wong came to play, though. 27 points, 9 of 17 from the field. Jordan Miller had 19 points. Nigel Pack had 12. The 3 guards, arguably their 3 best players, were so key throughout that game. And then even Omier underneath had 17 rebounds, 2 steals, 7 points. And they held that Indiana team to only 69 points. And despite Trace Jackson Davis having a good game of 23 points, they only had him take 10 shots. And that's good. That shows Omier was working down low. Maybe he could do the same against Jarris Walker. And then you look at a guy like Jalen Hood-Schifino, 8 of 22 from the field. He still ended with 19 points, but he's taking 22 shots and only hitting 8 of them. They could force Shed into some tough shots. They could force Marcus Sasser into some tough shots. So I think Miami has a formula to win this game. It's going to come down to if Isaiah Wong shows up. And I think it's going to be really hard against a really good defensive team like Houston, especially with the experience of Marcus Sasser, the experience of Jamal Shed. That's why I'm going to take Houston in this game. I think you should take Miami on the spread if you're doing a spread pick. But I do think with the extra days, I think Kelvin Sampson's a better coach than Jim Larinaga, although both are really good coaches. I think Kelvin Sampson should get the edge. And I think if this was an Elite Eight game coming off a Sweet 16 game, and you only had 1 day to prepare, I think you could take Miami. However, with all the days to prepare, and I think that normally favors the better team. So give me Houston in this one, in a close one, but they move on to the Elite Eight.